Chapter 14. Tom. It's been a week since that dinner with Hope, and I'm still a mess. My mind and heart all over the place. Everything was going perfectly until Chase showed up. Seriously, what were the odds? If I didn't know for a fact that he'd never pull something like that, I'd almost think it wasn't a coincidence, that he was following me. But that's ridiculous. Chase wouldn't. Still, he's not the real problem. The real problem is that I lied to Hope. When she asked about him, I panicked, and I don't even know why. I stood at a crossroads, tell her the truth about Chase, or steer the conversation in another direction, and I took the easy way out. What I should have said was that Chase and I were together for 2 years, that he was the most significant relationship I've ever had, that, in some ways, it never really ended, considering I literally invited him over a few weeks ago. Instead, I leaned into the club angle. It was simpler, more impersonal, something I could frame as just sex, just physical, nothing more. I wanted to throw her off just enough to shut down the conversation, move on, and forget about both Chase and the club. I didn't want Hope to know that Chase was a real part of my past, that he mattered, that I still matter to him. But the more I think about it, the more I wonder if I made the wrong call. Maybe it would have been easier to just tell her I had an ex. Exes are normal, easy to understand. And now, Hope won't let it go. I hadn't accounted for her curiosity. She keeps asking me to take her there, wanting to know more, probably because she doesn't have much experience herself. And maybe, after years of Nate keeping her at a distance, she's built up these fantasies in her head. But it's not happening. I'm not taking her there, ever. That world isn't for her. Yeah, I went when I was with Chase, and sure, I know plenty of couples, even happily married ones, who make it part of their routine. But I can't picture Hope in that space. I don't want her feeling out of place, walking into something she's not ready for, or worse, getting freaked out and pulling away from me. I told her I wanted to do this right, and I meant it. I like her too much to mess this up. Finally, it's Saturday, the weekend. I get to see her again, and I'm already on my way to pick her up. We haven't seen each other all week. Nicholas has been drowning in promo events for his new movie, and with the girls sick, Carolina hasn't left the house, which means I had to be with him every second. Not that I mind, it's my job, but I miss Hope more than I should. I would have traded a dozen Hollywood parties for just one quiet night with her at the ranch. But it's fine. Today, my schedule is clear, and she's all mine. Or, at least, that was the plan. I wanted to do something special, just the two of us. But then Hope asked if we could have lunch at her parents' place. I wasn't expecting it, and my first instinct was to say no. After losing my grandparents, I shut out everything that had to do with family, except for Nicholas, Carolina, and the girls. But that's different. The last thing I want is to be introduced like some kind of official boyfriend, stepping into someone else's family dynamic. But then she told me why. She told her parents about me, about the accident, and now they want to meet me. I get it. They probably insisted, and she didn't want to say no, so I agreed. Now we're in the car, heading out of LA on a bright, sunny day that feels completely out of sync with the storm I feel inside. I try to keep my focus on the road, to stay calm, but Hope notices. Of course she does. She reaches over, resting her hand on mine.
Tom, thanks for saying yes,
she says softly.
I know this isn't exactly your idea of fun.
I squeeze her hand, forcing a small smile. It's fine. Really. She studies me for a second, trying to gauge if I mean it, Then she nods.
They won't bring it up, I promise.
She says with quiet certainty.
They just want to meet you. That's all. It's going to be fine.
I nod, but the tight knot in my stomach doesn't ease. Hope thinks this will go smoothly, but I'm not so sure. I'm afraid I'll have some kind of overreaction, like I did at Nicholas's birthday party. Yeah, I'm more prepared this time, but digging up all those emotions, those memories, that pain, I don't know if I'm ready. I take a slow breath, pushing the tension down. At a red light, I glance over at her and smirk. "Come here," I murmur. "I think I need a distraction." Hope lets out a quiet laugh before leaning in, her fingers running over my chest.
Speaking of distractions,
She whispers, her lips brushing mine.
ever thought about staying over tonight?
I chuckle, shaking my head. "No, ma'am," I tease. "I told you, I'm following the perfect gentleman's handbook, and according to the rules, we've got at least 3 more dates before anything happens. Staying over? Please, let's not be ridiculous." I feign scandal, and Hope rolls her eyes, pulling her hand away from my shirt with an exaggerated huff.
Tom,
She groans, settling back into her seat as the light turns green.
we see each other once a week. Are you seriously telling me I have to wait a whole month?
Her frustration makes me laugh. "More or less," I say, flashing her a grin. "Actually, I was thinking of planning something really special for your birthday." Hope eyes me suspiciously.
My birthday?
"Yep, 5 weeks away," I remind her, throwing her a playful look. "What do you think?" Her brows lift.
5 weeks?
She echoes, like the number physically pains her. But then, a slow smile spreads across her face.
Okay, I like the idea of a birthday surprise.
She admits, twirling a strand of hair around her finger.
But first, we have to have dinner with my family. It's tradition. They always make a big deal out of my birthday.
She lowers her gaze, almost shy, like she's second-guessing saying it out loud. I squeeze her hand, wanting her to know it's not a big deal. "Hey, Hope," I say, gently. "It's all good. Dinner with your parents first, then our own private celebration after. Sound good?" I wink, and just like that, the tension melts away. She laughs and nods. By the time we pull up to her parents' house, a charming little home in a quiet town just outside LA, I take a deep breath. Before we even step out of the car, they are already coming down the steps to meet us. We shake hands, but I can feel them studying me, scanning me like they're trying to read my soul. For a second, I wonder if it's the age gap between me and Hope that's bothering them. And just as I start considering saying something to put them at ease, her dad completely throws me off. Without warning, he pulls me into a hug, a strong one. I freeze. My arms hover awkwardly in the air, unsure of what to do. I glance at Hope. She looks like she's about to say something to her dad, but I stop her with a small smile. I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable, even though I have no clue how to handle this. Hope gently takes my hands and places them on her dad's back, nudging me to hug him back. And the second I do, I remember him. He's changed, of course. It's been almost 28 years. But something about the way he holds me tight, maybe even his scent, pulls me straight back to the past. And suddenly, I'm 14 again. I step back slightly, realizing I'm taller than him now. Then I look into his eyes. "We saw each other at the hospital, didn't we?" My voice is a little unsteady. His eyes shine with emotion as he nods. "Yeah," he says softly. "I remember you perfectly." Holy shit. The realization hits so hard I almost step back. I take a deep breath, grounding myself, letting the weight of it settle. He does the same. Then, after a moment, he lifts his arm and gestures for us to come inside. Lunch goes smoother than I expected. Even though Hope promised they wouldn't bring it up, we end up talking about those awful days. Hope's mom is calmer about it since she was unconscious for most of it. The trauma didn't hit her the same way. For her, the only memory is waking up to find her daughter in her arms earlier than expected. Her dad, though, he's a whole different story. Like me and my grandparents, he lived through every agonizing second of that nightmare. And even though almost 28 years have passed, he talks about it like it was yesterday. His voice is thick with emotion as he recalls those days. He tells the story again, why they named their daughter Hope. Under the table, she squeezes my hand, and this time, I'm ready for it. It hurts a little less. Then he tells me about my grandparents, how they'd talk often during those long, painful days in the hospital, how they'd take endless walks up and down the corridors, waiting for news. And then he talks about me. He remembers comforting me, talking to me, hugging me at least a couple of times, and how devastated he was when my grandparents told him my parents hadn't made it. I don't remember much from back then. That whole time is just a blur of pain and loss. But the more he talks, the clearer it becomes. And when the memory of him hugging me in that cold hospital hallway finally resurfaces, it hits hard. Hope notices immediately. That's her cue to step in.
Okay, Dad, that's enough.
She says, her voice firm, no sugarcoating.
I think we've covered this more than enough for today.
I want to tell her I'm fine, that I can handle it. But her dad speaks before I get the chance. You're right, Hope, he says, offering me an apologetic smile. Tom, I'm sorry. I got carried away. Then, as if to change the subject, he suddenly fixes me with a serious stare. But let's talk about something more important. What exactly are your intentions with my daughter? My eyes widen, my brain short-circuits. I think I might even be sweating. The whole table falls silent. Everyone is watching me. Until, out of nowhere, Hope's parents exchange a look and burst into laughter. Oh, come on, Tom. Don't mind him, Hope's mom says, shaking her head. He's just messing with you. I glance at Hope, who's laughing so hard she's practically doubled over. I narrow my eyes at her, pointing a finger in mock warning. You are so gonna pay for this, I tell her, but I can't help laughing too. Just like that, the heaviness lifts, and the conversation shifts to lighter, easier topics. After lunch, we say our goodbyes, and Hope's parents personally invite me to her birthday dinner. I accept without hesitation, and when we part, instead of a handshake, we hug. Real hugs. The kind that actually means something. The kind that makes it feel like I've known them forever.
Chapter 15, Hope. It's finally my birthday. I can't believe how fast these 5 weeks have flown by. Between the girls, work, and Tom constantly traveling with Nicholas on the promo tour, the days have been a blur of responsibilities and stolen moments. We've hardly had any time together, and our encounters have been nothing more than quick moments squeezed between all our commitments. But tonight is just for us. The day drags, but when it's finally time to get ready, excitement takes over. I've planned every detail: black lace lingerie that makes me feel irresistible, thigh-high stockings I adore, a short, deep red dress that barely skims my thighs, and sky-high black stilettos that make my legs look endless. My hair falls in soft waves, framing my face, and my makeup is polished but not overdone. A touch of mascara, a sweep of blush, and a bold red lip to complete the look. One last glance in the mirror, and I'm satisfied. I have a plan. Ever since Tom told me about the club, I've wanted to see it, just a glimpse, nothing more. He's always said no, but tonight is my birthday, and I'm asking him to take me there as my present. There's no way he'll say no. The doorbell rings, sending a jolt through me. I open the door, and there he is, breathtaking as always. Dressed in a dark suit with a crisp white shirt that highlights his broad chest, he looks effortlessly put together, the kind of sexy that should be illegal. In one hand, he holds a bouquet of flowers, in the other, a small gift box. The second his eyes land on me, he stops like the air's been knocked out of him. His gaze drags over me, slow and intense, and I know exactly what's going through his mind.
Happy birthday, Hope.
His voice is low, rough, a slow smile curving his lips. I reach for the flowers, but he barely acknowledges them, just sets them on the table, along with the gift before his hands are on me, gripping my waist, pulling me flush against him.
You're stunning.
His words brush against my lips right before he claims them in a kiss that leaves me breathless. His hands slide down my body, gliding over my thighs, fingers finding the edge of my stockings. He pulls back slightly, gaze flicking down to where my leg is wrapped around his hip.
Are you trying to kill me, Hope?
His voice is thick, husky with desire. His fingers move higher, teasing along the lace of my panties. I gasp softly when his thumb brushes bare skin. Then his fingers slip beneath the elastic, and he groans when he feels just how wet I already am for him.
Fuck, Hope.
He murmurs against my lips, his breath hot against my skin. I clutch his shoulders, barely suppressing a moan.
All things considered,
He rasps, his voice dripping with hunger.
I think we've waited long enough.
I smirk, teasingly tugging at his bottom lip before deepening the kiss. His breath mingles with mine, hands tightening on my hips like he never wants to let me go. Tom, I giggle softly, trying to pull myself together. We should go. He closes his eyes for a second, clearly waging an internal battle. Then, with a sharp exhale, he takes a step back, grabbing the flowers from the table and handing them to me.
Open your gift in the car.
He says, raking a hand through his hair.
If we stay here another minute, we're not making it out tonight.
A few minutes later, as we pull onto the road, I rest the small box in my lap and carefully unwrap it. Inside, nestled against soft velvet, is an elegant gold bracelet, delicate and adorned with tiny star-shaped charms. It glows under the dim dashboard light, simple and beautiful. Sliding it onto my wrist, I run my fingers over the charms, my chest tightening. Tom, it's perfect. My voice is barely above a whisper as I turn to him. Thank you. He glances at me quickly, the glow of the dashboard casting soft shadows across his face.
Not as perfect as you.
I watch him drive, his features relaxed, the city lights reflecting off his sharp jawline. God, I'm so lucky. Suddenly, his eyes flick down to my legs.
Do you usually dress like this for dinner with your parents?
His tone is casual, teasing. I laugh, tilting my head back. They'll probably be a little shocked, yeah, or they'll just assume it's your influence. Tom chuckles, shaking his head.
I hope they have strong hearts.
Just then, Die with a Smile comes on the radio, and our eyes meet as we smile at the same time. Remember? I ask softly. He nods, eyes still on the road.
You have no idea how badly I wanted to kiss you that day.
My breath catches, my heart skipping a beat. I shouldn't be surprised because I felt it too. You have no idea how badly I wanted you to, I say softly. For a moment, we just look at each other, the song playing in the background, filling the space between us. It's like a conversation without words, full of things we're not quite ready to say yet. If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. Neither of us speaks. We just sit with it, letting the music sink in. When the song fades out, Tom reaches over, his hand finding my thigh, giving it a soft squeeze.
You know.
His voice is quieter now, more thoughtful.
Even back then, you were my favorite person.
Something warm unravels inside me, my pulse stuttering. Then, even softer, he adds,
Actually, I think you've been my favorite person for a lot longer than I ever realized.
As we get closer to my parents' house, I can't stop smiling. Tonight has all the makings of something unforgettable, and the best part is still ahead. My parents greet us warmly, their excitement obvious. There's no awkwardness, no judgment about the fact that I broke up with Nate or that Tom is 14 years older than me. If anything, it's like they knew I wasn't truly happy before. And the age gap is clearly irrelevant compared to the way I look at Tom and the brightness of my smile. Dinner is easy, full of laughter, stories, and effortless conversation. Tom fits in like he's always been part of the family. No tension, no mention of the past, just a light-hearted, celebratory mood. Before long, we're back in the car. It's still early, barely 9:30. Tom drives with one hand on the wheel, the other resting on my thigh, warm and steady. When his fingers start drifting higher, a shiver runs through me. Dinner was nice, I say, trying to focus on anything but his hand.
It was.
He agrees, throwing me a quick glance.
Your parents are great. I really like them.
Really? I arch a brow, smirking. Even after all those questions. Tom chuckles.
I survived.
Then his fingers slide up a little more, his voice dropping.
But you know what I like even more? What comes after dinner?
His eyes darken and my heart pounds. He glances away from the road just long enough to take in the bare skin of my thighs. I blush, suddenly hyper-aware of what's coming. Speaking of after dinner, I take a deep breath, bracing myself. I wanted to ask for one more birthday gift. He flicks a curious look my way.
Another gift?
A slow smirk tugs at his lips.
Anything you want.
I lean in slightly, my fingers grazing over his forearm. I want to go to the club. His hand stills on my thigh. The smirk disappears. His whole body goes rigid.
Hope.
He starts, but I cut him off before he can refuse. Come on, it's my birthday, I say, keeping my voice light, teasing. I just want to see it. You know I'm curious. Tom exhales slowly, gripping the steering wheel like he's fighting himself. Then finally, he glances at me and shakes his head.
Fine. Only because it's your birthday. But you stay close to me. One drink, we take a look. Then we leave. Deal?
A victorious grin spreads across my lips. Deal. Tom shakes his head and chuckles.
You're impossible, like a curious little girl.
I move in closer, my hand sliding over his chest. The thin fabric of his shirt does nothing to hide the solid muscles beneath. I pause at his nipple, giving it a playful pinch. But I am a curious little girl, I murmur, brushing my lips against his neck. Tom exhales sharply, his eyes darkening as heat flashes through them. That look alone sends a pulse of desire straight between my thighs.
Hope.
His voice is a warning, but the slight twitch at the corner of his mouth betrays his amusement.
If you don't stop, I swear I'll pull over right here. And that's not how tonight is supposed to go. Not after waiting this long.
He pauses, then smirks.
Unless, of course, you'd rather I did.
I burst out laughing, leaning back into my seat. Fine, I'll behave. For now. A few moments of silence pass before curiosity gets the best of me. But at the club, I start, nibbling my lower lip. What if someone approaches us? What if they expect something from us? What do we do? Tom glances at me, amused.
You really are a curious little thing.
Hey, I nudge his arm. It's a valid question. He sighs and lets out a short laugh.
It won't happen. We'll have white wristbands.
I frown. White wristbands?
Yeah. At the entrance, you pick your color.
He explains, watching for my reaction.
White means you're just there to have a drink, maybe watch. Blue means you're open to men. Red means you're open to women, no matter your own gender.
My lips part slightly. Wow, that's clever. Tom nods.
It keeps things simple, avoids any awkward misunderstandings.
I shake my head, laughing. It's like some secret spy code. He chuckles.
Yeah, something like that.
The tension between us melts, and as we get closer to the club, anticipation hums beneath my skin. I don't know exactly what to expect, but with Tom by my side, I know one thing for sure. Tonight will be unforgettable.
Are you enjoying the story? Follow, like, and subscribe for the next chapter. Find Beyond the Twilight on Amazon and in Kindle Unlimited. Links in the episode description.